Oh boy, live. I am live. I am broadcasting. Sorry for the nose rub there. Kind of itched a little bit, a little mustache hair. And I'm sorry I didn't catch that it came on all of a sudden. And I was popping my neck there a little bit because I slept wrong last night. I had to snap, crackle, pop there for a second. The top vertebrae there. I don't remember what number. Kind of sore this morning, but neither here nor there. And got my humongous cup of coffee again, my Tasmania. Love this cup. Some white chocolate, dark chocolate, what I want to say, caramel flavored, mixtured, and a double shot of caffeine, which flavor-wise, it tastes great. You don't really taste the coffee. You're tasting, even though I don't mind coffee per se, I'm not a black coffee drinker. When I first started out, I was, because that's all I knew. I didn't know in the realm of coffee when I was a very young child, I should say. We weren't allowed, it was taboo kind of in our family. I'm not saying that they totally said no, but we didn't have coffee in the family until I was not real old, but in my very young, late childhood, going into my early teens, before my dad started drinking coffee because of a little bit of different illnesses, and the coffee used to help calm him down a little bit, make him feel better. Because for the longest time, he just drank a little bit of tea. We call it Russian tea, with the tang and the instant tea and a little bit of coffee mixed in there, whatever you want to call it. Back then in the day, back in the early to mid 70s, and a lot of hot chocolate. Never really drink into the coffee, but that's not what this video is about. I've got to say that it's just I just started rambling on something that caught my attention when I was just getting another swig of coffee before I start my true part of my video. And this is to get people to please shout out and say things. I'm going to try something a little different this morning in my housekeeping part of it. I probably, when I first got into start collecting some pipes, you start looking for ideas, and especially a greenhorn on the pipe side of it. Yeah, I had 3 or 4 very inexpensive, what we call the drugstore, dime store, back when tobacco was still a huge thing. I mean, huge, as I want to say, as huge as it was. Back when television would let them advertise, and the main one that comes to Joe, the Camel, and Marlboro, obviously, and then Cools and Kent, and a few of those cigarette brands. And I'm not praising cigarettes, please don't get me wrong. I'm not a fan of cigarettes, never have been. So please don't think that I'm glorifying cigarettes. I'm just glorifying how society and how the TV industry and the people that regulate that have stopped some of the commercials and stuff, which tobacco selling, the praising, the cowboy riding into the old west, Marlboro, especially the Marlboro Man, as you know, and Joe Cool, the what he actually stands for is the phallic part of it. Is we won't get into that, of what he represents. So big deal. What I'm getting into is I want to do a shout out, and I like to get some input. I'm really serious about this, guys, because I've seen only 1 or 2 people in my time of collecting pipes and people on YouTube, a particular pipe that's been smoked out there. Okay, now I see these on Estee, or however you say that, eBay, not much on eBay, but on eBay, Amazon especially, and a few others, sellers of this type of stuff that do sell some pipes and that type of thing. We know out of Hungary, Poland, and some of those other countries, China makes their own knockoff pipes, and Japan. I can't even say Japan this morning. Wow, more coffee. I need more coffee. But no, but the craftsmanship of these, what I want to say, the third world, and I'm going to put this out there. I know Mr. Broggs, say it correctly, is out of Poland. They make some fantastic quality pear, briars, you name it, quality pipes. And I do have a few of their pipes. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're a perfect pipe or they're the best pipe, but they are a tremendously good quality pipe. And normally very, very reasonably priced. I've got a few church wardens from them, and some pokers and pots, and what I'm saying, sitters, and I just have to do this real quick. It won't take me but a second to grab this one. And then this pear wood, and I didn't clean it off of my room. I got to dust it every 2 or 3 days to get all of that. But this one right here, look at the size of that bowl, the heft of that bowl. I mean, this pear wood is a good quality hardwood. I got to say that stem work is great on it, but it's not heavy for the size that it is. It's got a good sized bowl. Probably, and I have not smoked this one yet. I bought this one on a whim because they said it was discontinued or limited stock, whatever the case may be. And it's a whatever type of a guitar or stringed instrument anyway, because it's a 4-string bass type anyway. But good quality pipe. I haven't smoked it yet. One of these days when I decide, well, it's time to smoke it, but it is what it is. I like it. What I'm getting out of is there's some of these countries and some of these places that the hand build stuff, the craftsmanship is not 100% perfect. I mean, there's little odds and ends of things, but they're still a pipe. They're still smokable. Most of them smoke very well. But the reason why I'm saying that, this, I can't remember the name of the company because I'd have to go back to my research through my account to get who actually sells them and that type of thing. But I want to show you this real quick. This particular pipe right here. Like I said, the quality of it isn't 100%. The fit and finish is not perfect 100%. Right there. I mean, that's a hardwood pipe. What type of wood? I don't know. Be truthful, I'm not 100% connoisseur of all woods. I know a lot about some. This looks like a walnut, or I'm not sure. The stem's straight wood. I mean, they steam it probably and bend it and then craft it and turn it and all that stuff. And the reason why I'm showing you this, because they're again, green, new to my pipe smoking. I'm messing around on Amazon. I will say Amazon, kind of a poor shout out to them. And I saw this particular deal because I'm looking at pipes. I'm looking at, when I started looking for pipes through all this traveling of my getting into this, playing around with this stuff, I wanted meerschaums. I wanted nothing but meerschaum. So first place I hit was eBay, especially because I figured, I can buy some pre-owned, little bit lightly used ones, because I am kind of particular about some of that. I don't mind trying to clean them, but meerschaum's hard to clean up and restore without possibly maybe having an accident and then you spent money and it's ruined pipe, because once they're cracked, broke, I don't know of anybody that can repair them correctly. I mean, they can probably fix them for a usable pipe, but are they worth anything anymore? As any type, I'm not saying I'm buying them for collecting. I'm just buying them to use, and if they look good, great, because I like pretty looking pipes. Nothing fancy. Like I said, my handmade ones, as you guys have seen, I love messing around with that. But the reason why I'm showing you these, I think it was 16, 15 to 18 different. I don't remember because my little box, I got them all shoved in a little box. They were so inexpensive. They had them on, like I said, Amazon, ridiculously low price for a massive amount of them, which I was surprised. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm just getting into smoking and I wanted to collect a few, I mean, into the pipe side of the smoking. And I wanted to get a few pipes. I didn't know what the quality of, they just said real hardwood, made out of Poland. I do know that these did come directly through Poland. These didn't come through Amazon to me. They didn't have them stocked back or anything like that. They actually came from the manufacturer. And I said, wow, that many pipes? If I burn them up, if I ruin them, if I make mistakes on them, or whatever the case may be, or the quality's not the best, the price was perfect. With shipping, because they did charge a little bit of shipping on them, it was still dirt cheap for as many pipes that I got at the same time. And I was also, when I was looking at these different pipes and different manufacturers and stuff, was lidded pipes, as I call them, by air, wind caps, whatever you want to call them. I don't know. Somebody can correct me and tell me. I call that a pipe with a lid. Let me say that, lidded sounds goofy to me, but a pipe that has a wind cap, a cap so you can whatever. Now these are so inexpensive, and I'm not going to say cheap, but when I got them, 99% of them, because I took them each individually out, like I said, 16 to 18 of them or whatever I got. What was kind of funny about this is they said you got so many of them for the certain price. When I got these, and I've gone through them, I've got a couple of them that the stems aren't perfectly, they fit tight to the rest of the pipe here, the stem does, but they're maybe off to the side a little bit or whatever to that, so they don't fit straight, but they fit flat against them, which is no big deal. I mean, for the price that I paid, like I said, it didn't matter to me. That is what it is on these. But I actually had to knock, blow through them, run pipe cleaners through them. And the reason why I say that, because they still were full of sawdust. The people, I'm sure, being out of Poland and whoever's making these, the people that made these, I want to make sure everybody gets to see the bowl and all that stuff. And I'll close the cap so I don't lose, because I do have it stuffed full of something here. And I made some comments on Amazon when they asked me to do a review on them. I have not smoked a one of them yet, because they were what I considered at the time a decorative pipe, a show pipe, not really a smoking pipe. But like I said, to the two people that I've seen off the YouTube world in the pipe community, they were smoking them, and they say they smoke perfectly fine. But back to where I was at who manufactures. We know that these guys are making penny to the dollar on being paid per hour or per day, per week, whatever they get paid over there, because we know they're not getting paid. If they're getting paid at all, it seems like, because a lot of these companies are family owned, and the family and the kids and the relatives and whoever works in their little factories, what I call sweatshops. You try to not support them but you never know. So, way I look at it is I'm supporting them in this manner, is they're getting paid something because I'm supporting them. I don't know who's getting all the money. but hopefully the workers themselves are getting something out of this. That's what I'm trying to support. Support the rights so they can make a living and support their family. I'm hoping that's what's happening with this. That's a little rant on that side because I am picky about what we call the world sweatshops that people only make, from 10 cents to 25 cents an hour, or even maybe 50 cents a day. I don't know. Some countries it may be $1 a day. I don't know. But I don't agree with that. But buying stuff in the US, where US people want to get paid for a good day's work, even though some of us don't get paid very well. But back to this. The craftsmanship is not 100% the greatest, but it's not bad either. I think they're neat looking pipes, decorative. Like I said, I've got from 15 to 18 of them. I'm not, like I said, I haven't hand counted them. All I know is when what they said on the website, I got one extra one. Hey, oops, and put an extra one in the bag, or box, which I was thrilled when it happened. It's nothing that I'm saying I'm trying to cheat them. They just send it, and it's no reason to. They say don't send it back because it costs them more in the hassle of getting it back. So say keep it type thing. So with that being said, I'm going to show you one more real quick. My longest and biggest one out of the bunch. I got some little bent nose warmers. I think there's only one straight stemmed type pipe out of the whole bunch. All of them are the Church Warden style type. And there's 2, maybe 3 out of the bunch that are what I consider the little nose warmer type pipes, short pipes. But that's the quality. I mean, there's nothing tremendous about them. They got some good graining in them, good lathe turning, because we know that's lathe turning. And then they glued them together really well. And I noticed a couple, 3 weeks ago, something like that, a gentleman, and I can't remember his name either. Like I said, sometimes I go through these videos a little quick, watch them. I'm doing a little bit of something else at the same time, trying to get through these. And I want to let people know that I do try to let their videos run all the way to the end, because I know how YouTube is about us and our time and our watch times and all this stuff. So I'm trying to help out where I can, even though it's not supposed to be for the glory of that. Who cares? It's the camaraderie of you people. It's a conversating back and forth, the friendships. Like I said, this is not a shout out to Cat Pipe or Pipe Cat. Let me say it correctly, Pipe Cat. But the relationships that we build with people like that, and I hope I can build a tremendous amount of more. I've got a lot of friends on YouTube now in the pipe community that I have talked back and forth a little bit. And so that's the reason why I'm shouting this out and saying that why haven't I seen more people smoking these or have bought these? I know the Briars are the best pipe on earth, or the better pipes. The Meerschaums are fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I love them. But I mean, I know these are cheap, inexpensive, especially when you see, and I don't know if you can see this. Let me do it on the other one because this is full of tobacco, and I don't want to. I'm going to do a lighting here in a second. I want to be able to see if you folks can see what I'm talking. Gap to move. Now you see that's one gentleman said on doing the reviews of these pipes to Amazon, because they do ask for reviews and stuff. It looks like they use almost the thickness and the quality of, and some of them look like it's brass, some of them look like it's tin. I've never seen any of them with copper, but some of them aren't finished completely to the draft hole in them is. Some of them aren't completely finished down to the bowl with the metal in them. But if you smoke them correctly, you shouldn't have a problem with them anyway. Once the once the cake is starting to build up on them and a little bit of protection's built up on them, they should smoke just fine. I think they should say that. I haven't smoked one, so I can't tell you. So, but they look like they crudely put that tin. To me, it looks like pop can tin in there. I haven't pulled one out just to see yet if that's what it is. I don't. I don't know. So with that being said, I want people to respond. Please let me know what they think of them. Give me your opinions, because opinions are opinions. We all have them. We're not going to get into that saying, and that, because that's not saying I want any, but if you don't have a good opinion about them, that's fine. That way, the negative ones and the positive ones, and let me know a little bit about them. I'm going to give you my own review of these after I smoke this. I'll come back and give a review on it, because I am going to review these pipes. This is my very first smoke out of all of them. This is, like I said, this is my inaugural smoke out of any of them. I've been afraid for forgetting about it because I got so many other briars and different quality of pipes. And I do have some of those plastic lined that what they described them as online when I ordered them was a lie. And I'm going to just say that out there. There's a lot of companies out there that lie about these pipes, that make claims and this, that, and the other. And then you get them and they're a plastic with that little cheap liner in them. And you're supposed to smoke a cigar out of them or a cigarette out of them because they got that little rubber plug in them for that stuff. Whatever the case may be, I've got stuck with a small amount of those till I learned, hey, when they're advertising them at anywhere from $1.50 to less than $10, buyer beware. Let me put it that way. That's back in my infancy of collecting the pipes. Then I got into the good quality. Let's go to I'm gonna. It's not a shout out to them. This is just saying to them, it's still buyer beware off of eBay. Don't get me wrong, but you get a tremendous amount better photos most of the time, not all the time, and you get some description, and I think the sellers on those type of websites, what I'm saying is their reputation is kind of important to them, to not get bad reviews so people quit buying their product. Now, I've got stuck with some screwed up ones off of eBay too, but neither here nor there. I was able to fix most of them. Like I said, my little cherry one that I showed you, which I wished I'd have known better in my infancy again, not to sand all of the information off of it. But you live and learn. So with that being said, so I can get off here quickly, I'm gonna get this one lit. Now this one, like I said, looks like that tin from a pop can line. This one virtually goes down to the bottom. It still draws really well. I can't get a real tight, or sucks your hand down, sucks your tongue to the stem, but it still draws very well and still seals off pretty decent, because it takes it a few seconds before you start. I mean, I don't know how many seconds. I haven't sat there and watched it before your seal of your hand and your tongue starts to really loosen up. So it ought to still smoke pretty decent, as far as I know. I'm not saying it will or won't. I don't know. But with that, let's get this burnt so I can get off here, get my start, and then I'll get back to you folks on this. But I do want feedback. Please let me make that clear. Please give me feedback on these if you know anything about it. Because the one gentleman that I can't remember where he was at and what he was doing, but he was talking about this style of pipe that his kids, son-in-law, somebody bought him one for a gift. And he's been smoking. He says it smokes great for what it is. and it looks no different than these type of pipes. I don't. So if you guys find a video on it, know who it is. That's great. See what his review on it. He was chooching right along on it, and it was working great. And sorry, get this lit here. I'm doing that a little bit longer than most of the time that most I do on these, because usually I'll light it, and this one's gone out already because I don't have it real super tight packed. Because this is on the housekeeping side, this is a rum maple, and obviously I'm going to say this again, and people will start learning this about me. You know, I on your higher quality in tobaccos, and we all have our opinions. There we go back to that saying. Everybody has an opinion, like you know what. Everybody has their own opinion, which I don't mind. There is good quality McBaron, McClellan's, Dunhill. I can keep going. Let me not get into that. I've been really doing a little bit of research. That's not saying that I'm trying to review or say anything good or bad about other tobaccos. But for a budget minded, inexpensive buying tobacco guy, Stut Stutflift, or however you say that, I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. I never have. I mean, they keep telling me, like I said in the previous stuff, when I call them to ask them a question, or if they got any idea when in a particular flavor or blend is going to be back in. You know, there's all kinds of tobaccos out there, but I'm an aromatic type of a guy. I'm a fruit, chocolate, um, fruit skin, raspberry, whatever. I love my raspberries, my chocolates, and the whiskey, rums, bourbons, flavors. Okay, so aromatics, I like them. I like them a lot. I do like some Turkish blends, which some of the Turkish blends that I do have that I like. Very limited on my Turkish blends because I have to buy them on a budget there again. But I have picked up some Turkish ones that you smoke them. I've learned that I think Turkish blends are a high nicotine because you smoke one bowl, and for me, I may smoke here lately. It's been 2 or 3 bowls a week, maybe 4, but normally it's only 1 to 2 bowls a week, and on a normal situation. Let me try to get this lit again. Hmm. Anyway, it's drawn really good. I will tell you this, and I just realized this. And something that this is just a shout out and a recommendation to new people that may bump across this particular video new to pipe smoking. I've got to say this. I know this is part of my mistake this morning. I'm gonna say this. It's not the lighter. I'm just grabbing a different lighter just because. What this is a thing of is I use blimpifiers, the humidifiers, the little footballs, because I've got so much tobacco and I don't want to lose it. I don't want to lose the total amount of moisture in my tobacco because there are a few tobaccos that I bought over the last few months that obviously you want to be able to smoke them. Yeah, they need age and all that stuff. A lot of them we sell our own a little bit, so we can see how the flavor changes, get milder, or maybe, however, whatever the reason is for. Or something's going out and you want to buy a lot of it, so you sell her a bunch of it. Um, that type of situation. Well, I just realized something here, and I'm saying this trying to say it real quick, is that when you put your blimpifiers in there, I've got to laugh at this part. I've read a bunch of reviews on these little blimpifiers, from the disc to the ceramic ones to the pouches, the ones that you moisten up and stick in there, or the ones that are already pre-moistened and you put in there and you throw them out and you put another one in after so long. Either here or there, I've been listening to a mess load of different reviews, or reading, I should say, more reviews. And I'm going to say this, not against a YouTube group. I've not heard anybody talk about humidifying except for your cigars. Obviously, we understand we humidify cigars. They burn better. They taste better if you do the right amount of humidity. Some people don't like a lot of humidity because they want a drier smoke, or some of them like a little bit of a moisture smoke. However, the case may be, because it gives them a different bite, different flavor, different. Let's not get into that part of it. We're not talking about cigars at the moment, but I do it for being able to cellaring them a lot longer. What I've got is a cellar. I don't have my phone set up right now to do this video. I'm doing it off the computer again, obviously. So with that being said, since you're supposed to use so many of these humidifiers, blimpifiers, in so many of them per so many ounces. Okay. Now the internet and the companies that sell these, they usually say 1 ounce, 1 humidifier. Okay. If I had to do that, I'd have to buy 200 or 300, and I'm not joking. I'd have to buy a mess load of those little blimpifiers. So back to what I was saying, I'm reading these reviews and stuff on them. The people that are saying, I can't get these things to work. You put them in the water, you let them sit there and float. You think they're supposed to soak up all this water. And this is my rant, because I got to say this real quick, because it was hilarious because they're charcoal activated, moisture absorbing. They put off the water over time. So every so many weeks, or every once a week, or however you want to do them. I do them about once a month, sometimes once every other month. It depends on my routine. If I forget, I try to put it on my computer calendar, so it pops up on my phone and my computer and say, hey, it's time to do maintenance, time to moisturize and redo all that stuff. So I get to them when I get to them in that particular aspect. But the people that were saying that they just float them in the water, these things are completely dry when you get them. Let me explain that. Completely dry. Okay. You put them in the water And these people that are saying they just let them float, I let them float for over an hour. And then they just seem to not work. They won't moisturize my tobacco. Well, they're dry. You put them in your water. Now, I use distilled water. Let me throw that out there if anybody decides, hey, that sounds good. They're all over the internet. You can buy them in a lot of places. There's a few places that are really super inexpensive. Here in my local area, I overpay for them, but that's because it's local and they explain taxes and blah, 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 blah. So neither here nor there. People don't realize right there again, they got little tiny holes. I wish I had one where I could show you real quick. I do have some right here. Now see, I don't know if you can see those. Little tiny holes in them. And there's charcoal inside there. And like I said, they're a little football. They call them Zeppelin, flimpifiers, humidifiers, whatever. I use this snot out of those things. I love them. They work for me, and I'll tell you why. And this is the funny part of it. On my joking side of this, reading all these videos that tell me they float them in the water and everything like that. Well, they're dry. Let me get back to that. I got to say that I'm not repeating myself just to bug you guys. I'm saying that so people get what I'm trying to say. They're dry. You put them in the water. Now I've got a special way that I've got a little measuring kitchen type thing that some people use them for mixing drinks and that type of thing. I don't use them for that. I just put this distilled. Let me get back to it. Distilled water, clean water. I don't use faucet water because most people, because of the mold capability and all that type of thing. Okay. And there again, being full of air. You got to get the air out of them before they'll absorb water into the material that's inside of them before they'll work. Obviously. I mean, that's just common sense on this stuff. Everybody telling me that they float them. I've floated them I've had them say 10 minutes up to 2 hours. No joke, just floating them. They said they don't sink, they don't soak up water, they don't humidify. He says maybe after the third or fourth time of having them in my jar and then putting them back in the water, I finally get a little moisture in them. What you do is I use a pair of miniature tongs, hold them, put them down inside, immersed all the way into the water, tap them on the side of the little container, like I said, measuring cup deal that I have, tap them around till you start forcing, and it's just like burping your gas tank. You put gas in there, shake your car a little bit and the air comes out, and you can put maybe another gallon in there. I don't know. I do it on all my vehicles. I overfill them a little bit that way, but the same procedure. You tap them to get the air knocked out of them. Once the air knocks out of them, and you keep doing that a little bit, slosh them around, and do them for 60 seconds to 80 seconds. Sometimes I'm doing 2 minutes. It just depends on if I forget it, because what I do is after I tap them long enough, because when you first initially put them in there, sometimes the air comes popping out of them, especially the ones that have been in the jars a while. You put them in there, the air pops out of them. You tap them a little bit more to get some more out of them. And my tongs are heavy enough because they have the slide deal to lock them. And I put it down in there, and then they are immersed in the water. Okay, common sense to me. And these people that saying they do all this stuff and they can't get them to work. Well, let's use a little common sense. A little scientific fact is you take a glass, push it down into a sink or something with water in it, with the glass upside down where it's full of air, and you push it down straight, you've got air built up into it. And usually the glass will come up or start to turn sideways. And when the air blubs out of it, glass turns over, fills up with water, and down to the bottom it goes. Common sense. Okay, I think common sense. Now, come on, let's not get into the population of, we're not going to talk about that. Some people, they just don't think. Okay, it's like speaking without thinking, opening your mouth and inserting your foot before you say anything. Okay, so with that being said, it's just a little bit of my rant on those little amplifiers. So back to this. And the reason why I'm saying that and doing this is I didn't dry my tobacco enough this morning. So let me laugh about that. I know why I'm having problems because after I got it lit for a few seconds there, and I you do your first camp, your second camp, whatever, and relight, whatever the case may be. I felt it, and if you can't feel unless you just have bad feel and bad understand what I'm talking about, there's too much moisture in this morning. I didn't let it dry few minutes to 15 minutes before I packed my bowl. It takes so much out. I got a good feel of most depths of bowl and size of bowls, how much tobacco you pull out, put it in your little tray, let it dry. I got my little tray covered up, but off quickly. A little tray, got a little bit of stuff in it. I got to get washed out, but put it in there, dry it for a few minutes, then pack your bowl because, and it depends on how dry you like it or how moist you like it, because like I said, it'll also obviously change the burn rate on it and everything. So rambling here, trying to let it dry a little bit before I try to relight it again. So bear with me. I'm sorry, YouTube world and you guys out there. You understand. You've all ran into that. You've overpacked it a little bit. It's too moist. You can't get it to burn. You work at it, and then finally all of a sudden, because you're pulling enough and it's been setting long enough. Sometimes I have packed pipes that are fairly wet. I'm going to say that. Some tobaccos out there got a lot of sugars and moisture in it. So I've actually packed a pipe, set it out overnight, come back to it, and still have a little bit of moisture in it, light it up, and she goes. Some of them, like this one this morning, like I said, I just did house cleaning on my cellar. Like I said, did all my humidifiers, put them all back in the jars. I got to buy a bunch more because I got stuff behind me that needs them. But the amounts that they are, I need to put 2 to 3 of those in there to moisten them, not just one or maybe 2. I need up to 3 in some of them. But with that being said, let's try this again real quick so I can get off here and quit ranting and raving, ranting. And that's what I'm talking about. A little bit of drying time. It's all I would need it on this because the draw is perfect on it. And if I can keep it lit for the first that is just so I can dry it. I know I should be just throw the cap on it, but I want to make sure it's darn well lit before I cap it. And that, perfect. Now, by throwing the cap over the top of it, I'm not out in the wind or anything, so it'd be even worse. But And maybe I spoke too soon, but I think part of it's this also. Get us, yeah, that's part of it. Tamp this baby down, get my crust built up before I start scraping the crust on. Wow, that got hot all of a sudden. Anyway, back to what I was getting at. I want some people to give me some shout outs, not as glory. Give me some feedback on what they think of this type and style of pipe, this type of a wood pipe. I know I built some wood pipes, enjoyed them. They smoke well. Holy mackerel! But yeah, I caught it, got it going. Don't want to smoke it too fast, chooch on it too hard. Even though it's lined with the aluminum, I don't want to overheat it and then start through the heat process start burning the wood. So I got to really watch that because I want to start breaking them incorrectly. Like I said, this is the inaugural first time that this thing's been smoked. Yeah, I blew all the ran the pipe cleaner down it, make sure the draft hole was clear, make sure. Sorry, I'm chooching on it a little bit there. Just trying to get it to relight without heating it up too awful bad. Like I said, most of this is not the pipe. Let me explain that. I checked the draw on every one of them so far, and I get a good, decent draw out of them. They're not perfect. They're not perfect by any means, but they got a heavy enough walls, big enough. I can get a decent amount of tobacco in them. And I think the tobacco is finally starting to dry out enough to where they. Well, my intentions was all in this. If as I kept thinking about it, and I'm going to do a little bit of a relight, even though it's still burning. Is I thought of you know still wool them down, give them a good shine on them as best that I can, and then go through the process of a light sealer of there again back to my marine grade tung oil for the water protection, especially up here around on the stem. Now the marine grade stuff, what I do with it after I do that, I put a little bit of. Sometimes I'll put a little bit of mineral oil on some of these natural wood ones mineral oil. There's nothing in that. I mean, this is the restaurant grade mineral oil I'm talking about. There's nothing that's going to harm a human unless you're allergic to that. But I never have had a reaction to mineral oil, and I polished a lot of stuff, my cutting boards and different things. And I do, if I can find it, cutting board oils that are truly designed, but most of them are just mineral oil in them anyway. But with that being said, I'll finish them out, either do mineral oil on them, or I'll even, I'm thinking about taking one of the smaller ones, shorter ones, after I seal it, get that dried for a day or so, do the stem. Then I will carnauba the snot out of it and just see what it looks like. And I'm going to say this: poor boy on a really tight budget, stuffed with rum maple, not maple rum like some people would think it'd be called. They call it rum maple. I need to buy another 5 to 8 ounces of it, because that has, I know the stem on this has a lot to do with that, but I've smoked it in my short nose warmers and stuff. There is no major, even though it's an aromatic, it doesn't have a real harsh tongue bite whatsoever. And that is a shout out for Stutlit. I'm going to say that. Stutlit. Stutlit. Anyway. I'm rambling here. But that's to say, inexpensive. They were doing a special on them, reduced price actually at the time. I got so many of these at the same time. Like I said, I got an extra one by their mistake. I don't know. They sent me an extra one off to my ramblings. So one other quick thing before I let you guys go, because I know I've been on here a while, I've been rambling, is an update on a little tamper that I built for my corn cobs, my long, bold, deep bowl, because they narrow so bad at the bottom. I wanted to show people that real quick, because this morning, here we go again. This morning, I got a weird idea that I firearms are a passion with me. That's what I used to do for a living before I kind of medically retired myself and mutual whatever. I'm gonna relight real quick. But anyway, my little, what I would say, willow branch. I like I say, back to shooting a lot and that type of stuff. Little 22 Hornet, so 0.244 of an inch diameter and bullet. Got thinking about it. I got some shells that are kind of on the retirement stage. I said, that stem's pretty close to that side, and I don't want to burn the little branch at all. So what I did was I filled this up with some solder, which is for copper pipe solder, the acid core stuff, and heated it up, melted it down. I got a little bit of weight on this here, so when I'm tamping, I don't have to fight. They fit really good. It's a protection over the carnauba, obviously. And it's like I said, I'm thinking about it, scratching my brain, and all of a sudden something came up. And it wasn't on this. It's just that I was looking at stuff, looking at tampers, because there's some people one person in particular that's interested in trying to get me out of one of my antler ones, in which I didn't mean to spill the beans there, but eventually he will. I, this just popped into my mind. That's a 22 Hornet. If anybody knows about their calibers, it's a very old traditional caliber that was built years and years ago for shooting in close proximity of and a quieter round and that type of thing, farm housing and stuff. Built way back. I don't know what year, but I'd have to go back in my memory banks and my information, and I could tell you because I'm a fan of it. I use it for a lot of different particular things, but we won't get into that right now. But it fits really well into those long, bold pipes, deep bowl, whatever you want to call them. It works out fantastic for that. So that's the way I save my twig, as we want to say, my willow twig that I did in the green for the to match a little bit of everything. So I've also, even though I did want to show something real quick also. Sorry to ramble. One that I showed everybody months ago, or a few weeks ago, of my campers and stuff. The one I built for my little Hobbit mid-earth pipes that I built. Used the copper tip on it, and that's actually a copper cap for 1/4 inch pipe I built with my initial on it, and filled it in, polished it out, crap load of, I mean, that's 1 or 2 coats of clear, because I think this is willow also. It could be cherry, but I think it's willow. And I a whole massive amount of carnauba on it. So I wanted to show this, and this is a shout out to Pipe Cat again. That I do make a few different ones, but we'll get into that subject later. But please, let's go back to what I initially got on here for. Folks, let me know what you think of them. I haven't had a problem with this one yet. Like I said, I wanted to get my inaugural out of it. I thought maybe I'd never smoke them. They're just decorative. They, for show, whatever the case may be. But no, they're a pipe. They're sold to be smoked. Okay. I don't think smoking them, unless you're trying to resell them to make a profit of them. I could have broke the setup, sold them individually, and made more than I paid for them. That's not what this is about. This is about smoking. And if the pipe, say that right, if the pipe is taken care of properly, clean properly, and maintained, down the road, years later, when you say, well, I don't smoke this one anymore. I want to get rid of it. I want to sell it. I don't, make a little bit back out of it. You've got some pleasure and some use out of it, or maybe you just don't like it, whatever the case may be. Properly taken care of, you should get years of use out of them, and and the next person that gets it from you, if you do sell it or pay it forward, pass it forward, whatever the case may be, to somebody, they should be able to get years upon years more use out of them. And I'm hoping with these little things, even though they're cheap, they are what they are. They're decorative. They seem to smoke okay when you keep them lit. I got to learn, because pipes are pipes, and they're all picky on how they burn and what they burn and what you like to, some of them will ghost, some of them won't ghost. Cobs and meerschaums usually don't ghost unless you just mistakenly put something in a cob. Most meerschaums won't ghost anything. Most, not all, but most. This, I don't think, will ghost too bad if I take care of it correctly. That's the whole point about this. Let's maintain them also, not just buy them and chooch the heck out of them like our grandfather did, because they didn't know any better. Great grandfather, or your dad, doesn't matter, whoever it was, that smoked them, because I've gotten some pipes that literally the smallest reamer out there, I ended up having to use a pin type style knife that I had to sharpen the living crud out of to get the cake out of them enough to get my first reamer in it, because I got a couple sets of reamers, vary in sizes, and the expandable reamer, whatever you want to say. I've got a few of them because I'm learning, and I bought tools along the way because I saw tools and I go, wow, that is a good idea. Some of these pipes, and I'm not joking, I had one pipe that was so caked that I could barely get small, cheap, sitting at the counter when you walk up at a hardware store, wherever, and they're sitting there in a bucket and they say $1 a piece type thing. I had to take one of them and really work the blade on it, sharpen it up to where it would get in there, chip away at the stuff before I could get my first reamer in there. And this particular pipe, I'm going to say this real quick with a little bit of rambling, that the nut that had it before I did, or a few people have had it, they at one point in life used a screen in it, and I didn't know it because when I started reaming it out, I hit the screen and I couldn't get past the screen. And then I started hitting some gooey stuff in it. And I think what they did, they tried to use alcohol to try to clean the pipe out a little bit and it was, there again, it's another one of those pipes that it was misrepresented on eBay, but oh well. When I finally got done with it and did my little bit of restore on it, it turned out to be a fantastic smoker. But when I got past the screen, finally got the screen where I could get it out of there, get the cake down to where it was livable, and then I can start finishing out the bowl to get down to the bottom of the bowl. It was sticky, gooey, and had a little bit of a sweet smell to it. So they didn't use straight grain alcohol. They must have used something with flavoring in it because it was sticky all through it. But like I said, got through it, got it cleaned up, and it's a good smoker today. So let's maintain them. That's just a shout out. This is my own little rant, real quick here. Enjoy them. When we get to that point, pay it forward, pass them on, or just keep smoking it till you're gone. Let's not say it in a bad way on that. That's just being ha ha. So whoever gets it next can pick it up, do the sanitizing on it. Well, I got to say that. That's just a health thing that I'm about. Let's sanitize them. And then smoke them. Keep them lit. Keep them chooching, as we say, with the group of people that we have here. Let's enjoy them. I enjoy it. It's a hobby that relaxes me. This YouTube place relaxes me. People that I've been dealing with, and I gotta say thank you, folks. So please give me a shout out on these and reviews what you think of these. So far, so good. If I wouldn't have put wet tobacco in it, I gotta say that I made a mistake, and I know it's out now. We all know it's out now. I've been sitting here playing around too long. Been on this rant too long. But thank you for putting up with me, please. Thank you, thank you, thank you for putting up with me. And you newbies out there, check out everybody. Like I said, I'm over, and I don't know how many because of YouTube, and they're only let you subscribe to so many people in your private, in your own little bookmark thing that says, how many you have. 300 and something is all they'll show. But you can keep stuffing them in there and then go through them if you want. But I'm over 1,000 something, I don't know, across the world of people that enjoy this hobby, that it relaxes them, gives them an outlet just like me to rant and rave and to praise some people. I'm not in it for the glory or the fame. Don't get me wrong. I'm not in for that. I'm in it for the camaraderie and in the relationships between all of us, friendship. I hope you guys understand that. And I hope you know, subscribe to everybody that you can. They may not be on here every day. They may only write comments. They may not do videos. Still, when they comment back because you made a good video or you made something that's interesting to them, and it makes them go, I think that's a good idea or not. I take everybody's thoughts and reviews and all that with a grain of salt, and I'm saying that for a reason. People, please understand this. It's there again. It's not to say I'm dissing anybody, because I'm not. What it is because I use out of them what I know that works for me. Now, it may work for other people. It may work great for other people, because everybody has their own palate, their own taste buds, their own everything about it, their own style of pipe. They like a straight pipe, a bent pipe, church warden, long stem. Everybody can learn about me. I like the longer stems, the church warden, the bent pipes. I like that. I've got a few straight pipes, but limited on them. I just got good deals on them, and I thought they were in really good shape. What I could see of them, get them here. Most of them were in good shape. Like I said, I had a few that I really had to work at them. I'm learning how to restore them, and tell you this by truthfully, I've learned how to restore stems, and I mean restore stems, not just screwing around with them. Polish them back out, take the teeth chatter out of them, the chew marks, whatever you want to call it. How to do some fills on them to make them ones that are so bad that you're not going to buff them out without going through the pipe, the draft hole in the stem, and the bit, I should say. My vocabulary is not the best, but there again, back to what I was saying before, I'm learning, trying to get my dictionary built up in my computer so I can terminology of this stuff. But with all that said, it's a learning process for all of us. But you new guys out there, learn from the people that you can learn from. I'm not saying learn from me. I'm saying learn from everybody. Take things with a grain of salt. It's what I say, put it in a sieve, whatever, shake it out, squeeze it out. What works for you works for you. What flavors work for you. Because like I said, I'm talking on the food side, I can't do spice. I love the Scoville level of spices. I love the flavors. Don't get me wrong. The flavors enhance things. Black pepper is my friend, but too much black pepper, obviously. I love red peppers. I love jalapenos, all that stuff. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is it goes back to your tobaccos. Some of the Periques, the Latakias, Perique especially has some spiciness and some different flavor to it that's hard to explain by my own taste buds and standards. Okay. But it's my body that can't handle the spice. Let me put you in that terminology. My body reacts and rejects a lot of spices. And it goes back, same thing with the tobaccos. It's the same thing. Some flavors, some spices, some, like I said, some of the Periques, some of the birdies even, some of the Latakias, and even some of the certain Virginians. So everybody, I got to say, it's the same way about that. They all have their preferences, their flavors. I'm an aromatic guy. You'll learn that about me. I love aromatics. And I think I'll always love aromatics. But when I can afford them, it's like shortcut to mushrooms. I guess that's how the Middle Earth, because I'm a Middle Earth fanatic. I'm or that basis of type of Hobbit, Lord of the Ring. I'm not, that is Hobbit. I'm trying to say Dark Crystal, Harry Potter. I'm not praising Harry Potter as much because of other reasons. I won't get into that. I mean, I have watched every one of them and collected, but it's neither here nor there. There's different connotations on that as a Christian won't get into. But with all that being said, like another person I was talking to through chatting back and forth, that it's fun. It's fun to pick on each other in the context of we're showing you love and are picking on you. We're not picking on you to dish you, to make you feel bad. We're not trying to bully, as we want to say. This is a community that gets along together. As many of you guys that have passed it or paid it forward, what people have done and said and all that stuff, I appreciate that. I haven't yet. Yeah, I got a shout out in the VR from Pipe Cap. I appreciate that big time, but he didn't have to. And I said some things about him that I thought were fairly nice. He hasn't told me that I've done anything bad. He calls me a nut too because we're on the same wavelength of music and a lot of other things. I can keep going. But that's not a rant or a review for him. That is just saying there's people like that out there. I can keep going through, and it's like Captain Spaulding. Um, that's one that's right on here. Gribley's follies and his things and stuff that he talks about. You know, Smoking Grandpa, um, Grandpa Bones. Let me say it correctly. People like that. They're just everyday common people that's doing something that relaxes them and get in here with our community. And I apologize for my rant and keep going. I know I've been on here a while and I get carried away. But it's just a passion right now with me that I love all of you. So don't take when I sign off on my comments to your channels and what you have talked about or your VRs or something that's brought up. Like Lon Smoke and we've been conversating back and forth also. I think he's a wonderful guy. He's on the same wavelength as I. The passion that we feel about our nation as the United States and our military and our government, we're on that same wavelength. I got a passion about that. I'm not going to get into that. That's another rant and rave. But things like that we do for each other. And I know I've said this several times before, but I keep reiterating on it and sort of kind of beating a dead horse. But please, you new guys, check us all out. Not just saying subscribe to me. No, that's not what this is about. If you think that's what it's about, you're missing the meat of what we're trying to do here. Friendship across the nation in a system that YouTube has given us. It's not Facebook, it's not Instagram, it's not Twitter, it's not all that stuff. I think YouTube is a better source, even though it's a Google owned. We won't get into that. I got problems with that too, but I'm not saying that to get me in trouble or get kicked off here. There's a lot of things here that across the world that I talk to people. I can think of two gentlemen real quick, but I can't say their names real quick. I just went through some of their videos this morning from Scotland and the gentleman from London, the older gentleman. And even people, I got a gentleman out of Japan, and I think, out of Japan, I believe it is, or Korea. Sorry. But we don't speak the same language. Okay? I can't speak his language, but we have a way to conversate through YouTube. I give him my comments. Now, most other countries, not all countries, but most other countries, they can speak a fair amount of English, some, not all. No, please, don't get me wrong on this. What I'm trying to say here. This gentleman can speak pretty fluent English if he has to. Okay? On his channel, he's speaking his native national language, or his Providence, or which, his whatever they call it, sect, dialect, or whatever of their language. And he's speaking that his whole time that he's on his channel. I chime in just to say hi, Kevin from, Rune Dog Kevin from Montana, Billings, Montana, United States, whatever. I got another gentleman that's got he's from Ireland that Irish usually speak fair amount of English, but there's some sects of the language that he speaks that I don't understand whatsoever, but I conversate with them. They understand what I'm talking to them about. The one, like I said, the one gentleman, I believe it's from Japan, he speaks English to me and says hi back to me and good day, and the weather is this there and the weather is this here, and it's polite conversation, but we keep track of each other. I think that's fantastic. We've got a camaraderie across the world. Not everybody's right, not everybody's wrong, but we're a community that's working through this together. So I appreciate that. Again, my little rant on like how I've been doing forever, ever since I've been on here, just about every video, and I apologize for that. But I wanted just to make a positive point, pay it forward, pass it on, love each other. Let's enjoy what we're doing here. A relaxing hobby and a fantastic group of people. The yabos that you guys pass on to each other. I haven't received any, and that's please, 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 please. I'm not asking for anything. I don't believe in begging in that aspect. If you want to make trades and because there's a tobacco or something out there that you can't get anymore, and somebody says, "Well, I've got this amount of it," I understand that, or being nice and it's like people asking me, "Well, do you sell your pipes? Do you sell your tampers? Do you all that stuff?" I haven't thought about that as of yet. I'm thinking about on other systems selling some of my handmade products because I'm in a learning process of some of this stuff. But with that being said, maybe eventually down the road, make a little money off this, but it's not the YouTube part of it to make money. Please understand that. Like back to what I was saying, and then I got to let you guys go because I've been rambling, is that we all love each other and we support each other. And if I don't have something, you do, or if I have something and you don't, and I've got extra and I can pay it forward, I'm going to pay it forward. Don't get me wrong. You guys have paid it forward. I don't know how many times to everybody. Everybody has back and forth, especially in your tobaccos and different things that when you open up a Yabo box thinking you're just getting a pipe or something, and it's got 3 or 4 or 5, 6 samples of this, that, and the other. That's amazing. I love watching them because of that reason, because people are paying it forward because we have this community. So I appreciate it. Thank you. And I better get off here because I know I've been on here way too long and I don't want to start losing people because of my rants and raves. I apologize for that. But thank you. And let's have a good Sunday and a good week. And happy Super Bowl day. I don't know who's going to win. I don't know if I haven't kept up with any football this year. I'm going to say that up front because my year has been involved with the most of last year and this year of cancer. That's not crying or saying anything. So I don't know who and what. Super Bowl 52. It's amazing. From the conception of the Leatherheads, let's say that, till what we're at now. And then we're fighting the football. I mean, I like football, don't get me wrong, but I haven't kept up with it in the last 2 years. But to the point now where they're in the medical aspect of it, they're trying to figure out ways to protect players so we can still have the barbaric sport of football. And I'm saying that in a ha-ha way. So don't get me wrong. I think it's a fantastic sport. My sport, and I want to say this to everybody, is is baseball. I'm a baseball fanatic, and my team's out of Georgia. I mean, not national league team, and we're not going to get into that. So please don't beat me up over that. Everybody has their own who's and whats and wheres and their likes on that, just like everything else. We won't get into that ramble. But with that being said, let's have an enjoyable day. If you're going to watch the Super Bowl, that's great. I might not. I'm not saying that in a good, bad way. I don't know what I'm going to get involved with. If I'm going to make it through the pre stuff, and then through it in halftime and all that stuff. It is on my mind and thought that I would like to watch it, but we'll see. That's my other rant. So I'm going to let you guys go. Have a good day. Have a fantastic week. And I got to say this real quick, because if Pipe Cat does watch this, which I hope he does, please send me for some information that I've been asking you about. If you would, private message, I don't care. If there's a way for you to figure out how to get a hold of me, I need to get some information from you, because, like I said, he knows what I'm talking about. And that's not anything against anybody else saying that I don't want to tell anybody. But anyway, with all that being said, thank you and good day.